Welcome back, everyone. Well, I've got spray foam insulation coming in 2 days, and I want to try to get a few things buttoned up before it comes. But I'm going to be putting lights around the exterior of the finished part. We're going to be enclosing, obviously we've got it enclosed, but we're going to finish the inside of this 24 by 40 space. Now I'll have interior metal walls here, so I won't have access to the back side once I do that. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a light over the main garage door. I'm going to put a light out over the back door, and I'm thinking I may put one up in the center of the building, shining out the front. And then I'm going to put one when you pull in and it's dark. I'll have a motion light here. If you come walking up to this door at night, you'll be able to click a light on right there. So anyway, I've already went ahead and put one of these in, but what I'm using is I'm using an old work box. So these have little ears on them. Once you put them through your hole, you tighten the screw up and they'll retract in and tighten up against whatever. Most time it's sheetrock. I wasn't thinking that the metal thickness, this thing would not come all the way up there and tighten up against my metal. So the reason I'm wanting to put these in versus cutting the holes on my wall girts and attach them to the wall girts and then having them there is I want insulation to go in behind the wall. I want it to go all the way around this box, and I'm going to have them to actually spray over this. So when I'm ready to come back and pull my wire, I'll come from the inside of the box, drill me a hole out, and then I can take some spray foam in a can, come back and seal that hole up, and then I've got this box encapsulated so I don't get any air leakage around it. So what I had to do is I had to come up with a little compromise here to get this to tighten up to my wall. I'll show you what I'm doing in here. I cut me a little OSB donut there, and I just slide it over the box, and then that gives me enough thickness to where my box will tighten up against it. So first one was trial and error. I've got some wall outlets to put in and then some lights to put in. So that's the project at hand. Let's cut a few holes. I don't know if there's anybody else out there that loves these things as much as I do, but I absolutely hate these hole saws. Good thing to break your arm with. I had to cut this one pretty close because we got that tube tin up there in the way, so I had to give this one just a little so it'd slide in there. So I'll cut this off and we'll go stick her in there. Not pretty, but that'll work. One thing about these boxes are aggravating. Where these tabs are, I don't care, you can cut them 100 times and you'll still have to go back and trim them out. I think I've got her pretty well ready to go in there. Let's see if she'll fit in there like she's got some sense. I think she will. All right, I'm gonna go get my little donut and we'll put it on the back side and we'll tighten it up. All right, here's what I'm working with on the inside. If you'll notice, look at all them air gaps in that outlet box. Obviously I've got gaps, you know, around here where it's coming in the side, which that'll all be covered. But all these holes in this thing that air could get through, which I know it ain't that big of a deal, but you know, if you was building a house and you had 50 of these things in the wall, that's a lot of air. So I'm going to put my little donut on here, so my little tabs will have something to grab on. But when they spray this, my donut goes on like so, and then these little tabs, when I tighten it up, will fold down. I'll go ahead and kick them up. This one down here, if I can grab it, will come out like so. So I'll tighten it up, and then I'm gonna have them spray. When they spray this wall, they'll spray here, spray right over top of the box, and this whole thing will be encapsulated. So when I want to get my wire in here, I can find and punch one hole, and I don't have to come out here after the fact with a can of spray foam trying to cover over this box and seal it up. So that's the game plan. Whether it's right, who knows? If it's wrong, who knows? But I will tell you this, there won't be any air come through it. And now we're secure, and all it's going to be hanging on this is a light outside. So time you spray over this with spray foam and it basically marries it to this whole wall, I don't think I'll have any problem in holding a floodlight. There we go. Just a few more to go. All right, I got that one screwed in. If you've got any OCD qualities about you, you will not like that. And neither do I. But I had to, the rib on that metal is sitting right in the center of the door, so I had to offset the light and move it over in the valley beside it. So luckily it's back here on the back of the building and I won't have to look at it. So it is what it is, but I sat here and debated for 15 minutes on what to do, but ended up to bite the bullet and just go ahead and put it in. But I'll put one of those two-way lights. One will shine this way and one shine that way. That way I can light all this up back here. If you're around here at night and need to see, we'll be able to point them both ways and get a little benefit from it. So let's move on to some outlets. All right, I'm out in the shed part of the building, and I've got a dust system line stubbed up right here. My goal is to put a dust collector out here and then put an air compressor out here, and I don't know what else I could put out here, but what I'm going to try to do is plan for the future. So I'm going to put 3 220 volt outlets out here, and that way whatever I put, I'll have electricity. So I'm going to stick them in there about 5 feet off the ground, and then that way I can wire them in at whatever time I choose to do so. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those put in the wall. That way we can spray over them the same way we did the lights, and then we can plumb them in before we button the inside up. All right, I got my hole cut, so I'll slip this through. It'll sit in there like so. And I'll go over on the other side and put my little donut around it, and then we'll tighten her up. All right, let's tighten her down. They should ban Phillip head screws. They shouldn't be it should be a law that says they can't manufacture them anymore. All right, that'll work. On to the next. Well, it's time for some insulation. We've been delayed here the last couple of weeks with the rain, they want a good dry day to spray the building. So they've showed up this morning, they've got started. If you're in East Tennessee and want some spray foam insulation or any kind of insulation, you can give old Daniel at D&S there a call. This is the first job Daniel's ever done for me, but I know several people here in town that have recommended him, and from what I hear, he's a good guy and does a good job. So we'll see what this stuff looks like going on the wall. Right in here is where the magic happens. We got the compressor, and we got part A over here and part B. So it's pulling from both barrels. It runs in the machine, heats the temperature up, and then it runs through this hose. You can feel that hose, it's hot. He said it was at about 148 degrees, and then he pumps it in there to him with a gun. He puts it on the wall. Well, we got our insulation sprayed on. These guys, I had them spray the walls, and then they continued it up to the roof deck, and so we sprayed all the way around this thing, and we've got an enclosed envelope now. One thing I wanted to do was I wanted all the wood. I wanted basically a thermal break here. I didn't want any wood exposed. Far as the wall girts go, and then where the wall girt attaches to the back side of the post, you got an 1.5 inch gap in behind your post, so I wanted to make sure we filled that cavity as well. And so it looks like they've pretty well done that. So I ended up going with closed cell. We put an average of 2 inches through the whole thing, so we ought to pretty well have this thing where we can keep it pretty comfortable in here summertime and wintertime. So next up, we're going to frame some rooms in back here in the back. We'll get those framed in, and then I've got to build a loft up here. Getting ready to meet my heat pump guy. We'll probably put a split heat pump in it, and we'll put the air handler up here in the attic, and then we'll come out and bring our line set down and probably take it out that back corner. And that way we can set our compressing unit out there. But anyway, got to get that done, and then put some wiring in here and plumbing in here and try to get this thing sealed up. So anyway, we'll catch you on another day.